everyone, I'm Parvati Nair and I'm your host for today. I welcome you all to the guest lecture series organized by Technovanza VJTI, co-hosted by Gaya College of Engineering and Engineering College of Ajmer. VJTI was established in the year 1887 and is upholding its proud legacy of over a century filled with brilliance and educational prowess. Furthermore, it has thrived in nurturing the brightest minds of the society. Technovanza has been a prime platform where the flame of expertise has been meritoriously passed on to light many more torches. Through the VJTI Guest Lecture Series, Technovanza attempts to bridge the gap between students by featuring eminent personalities from various walks of life to share their valuable experiences with all of us. Pioneers of diverse fields, including Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Air Chief Marshal B.S. Dhanova, Dr. A.S. Kiran Kumar, Mr. Ratan Tata, and many others have graced Technovanza VJTI with their presence while progressively illuminating young minds to new areas of interest. Amplifying this extraordinary legacy, we are very proud and gracious to host our nation's expert nuclear physicist and a recipient of the Padma Shri and the Padma Bhushan awards, Dr. Bikash Chandra Sinha. Sir is an alumnus of King's College, Cambridge, and is a fellow of National Academy of Sciences, Allahabad, and the Indian Academy of Sciences, Bangalore. Sir joined Bhabha Atomic Research Centre, Mumbai, after returning from England and was the director of Saha Institute of Nuclear Physics and Variable Energy Cyclotron Centre, VECC, Kolkata. Currently, Sir is the chairman of Board of Governors of NIT Durgapur. Sir was nominated as a member of Scientific Advisory Council to the Prime Minister from 2005, and he has been re-elected for the second time as the member of Scientific Advisory to the Prime Minister from 2009. Sir, we are truly honored by your presence today. We'll have a live Q&A session after this lecture, so you can leave your questions in the live chat below. Now over to you, sir.
Shall I continue? Come. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Can I start my talk?
Yes, sir. You can start.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
sir.
I didn't get that. First of all, I'm delighted to be here with you, Technovanza of your famous institution. And I heard many people who have been there of extreme distinction. Namely, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who I used to know quite well, and no less a person but His Holiness Dalai Lama, and my two former colleagues, senior colleagues, Anil Kakotkar and Professor Bose, who was Chairman of Atomic Energy Commission. It really is a pleasure. But of course, today technology is the buzzword. What I want to demonstrate to you, my students, is technology by itself is not going to get very far our country. In my opinion, technology has to be driven by hard fundamental science. And that's my thesis I'm going to propagate in the next 30 to 40 minutes. That's it. Can you see it? My students, can you see it?
Yes, sir. We can
Yes,
see.
sir.
Right. The title is Microcosmos and the Macrocosmos from Collider to Cosmology. Now that's a mouthful for you, I'm sure. But So I'll try to explain to you very briefly what I mean. By macrocosmos means the most macroscopic thing or object in this world. And that's the cosmos of the micro. And macrocosmos means the universe, the entire universe, Earth being one of the planets of the solar system. Collider means, for instance, Large Hadron Collider of CERN, Geneva, where I have been working with my colleagues. This is an accelerator to explore the macrocosmos in order to understand how the macrocosmos works out. And cosmology means is the logy of the universe. This is abstract, I'll go through it quickly. There has been an urge of human civilization, of human beings, over thousands of years to find out the most elementary building blocks of nature. And at the moment, the most fundamental building blocks are quarks and gluons, which make the protons and neutrons and so on and so forth. But nobody on earth knew how the mass of these objects come from. Where does it come from? So, July 2012 at CERN, the European Centre for the Most Advanced Accelerator, discovered what they call Higgs boson. And why is it known God particle? Not that God has created or maybe they have created. Is because one of the famous experimental physicists, Georg Lederman, got fed up finding out Higgs boson, and the American joke or American slang, he called the Higgs boson goddamn particle. And from there, the word God stuck and damn went. So it became God particle. So what I represent to you or present to you the theater and the history of that unique discovery, and consequent to that, the enormous strides on technology, which is unthinkable only 10 years ago. Let's go back in history. Man's interest in the heaven is perhaps as old as the beginning of his career as Homo sapiens on this planet. This is doubtless a consequence of an innate posture, which enables you to look and wonder in the sky, the various striking phenomenon occurring there day by day, night by night. The rotation of the earth, the energy of the sun, and the connected business of agriculture and so on, at the very dawn of his capacity to wonder, man realized. Sequence of day and night, the obvious connection of the sun with alteration of light and darkness, the regular revelation of the splendor of the nightly sky, the periodic waxing and waning of the moon, the unchanging character of the scalar world must have fired the imagination of the primitive man. He understood hunting, he discovered hunting tools and the regularity of the heavenly phenomenon. And daytime activities he could differentiate from nocturnal activity. He noticed many things and the effect of heavenly bodies. In Lower Egypt, the periodical overflowing of the Nile was noticed to have some connection with the heliacal rising of the stars. The start of the modern science, I would say, started with the famous Italian physicist, mathematician, astronomer, and philosopher called Galileo Galilei, 16th century to 17th century. He had a very miserable life, my students, because he suggested that the solar system is heliocentric, namely goes around the sun. But at that time in Rome, The God lovers, namely the so-called popes and everybody else, decided everything goes round the earth. This is the leading town of Pisa in Italy, where he discovered some very fundamental aspects of science by dropping a cannonball, a musket ball, and actually demonstrated his understanding of gravity first time. The so-called Doge of Venice, he understood Mr. Galileo to look through the telescope to the sky. I wonder how many of the prime ministers and presidents would bother to do that today after so many centuries. Bertolt Brecht is a German so-called theater person, and he famously coined January 10, 1610, Galileo Galilei abolishes heaven. Then comes the famous Sir Isaac Newton. If you ever have read the book, The Brief History of Time, by my friend Stephen Hawking, Appendix 1 or 2, I forget now, he says the Lucasian chair professor that he held was held by Isaac Newton some many years ago in Cambridge. And he makes the famous comment Isaac Newton was not a very pleasant man. Anyway, he discovered many things. And this lady, French mathematician and physicist, who translated Newton's work into French and largely responsible for the spread of Newton's influence in Europe. You remember those days there was no email, any computer, even telephone, but the knowledge was very rich. Then comes to India, 17th century. Maharaja Swai Jai Singh II of Jaipur. He was a very learned man. He had Jantar Mantar built in Jaipur and New Delhi and some other places in India. I've seen that when I was a young child, a boy. This is a thing called astrolabe to figure out the position of the various stars in the sky. They did that in his court. Then quickly we come to the renaissance of Indian science, 19th century, Sir Jagadish Chandra Bose in Bengal. He discovered the millimeter waves and the fact that plant science got a great breakthrough under his study. I won't go into detail. The sad thing is, although he discovered millimeter waves, at that time it was, of course, under British Raj, so he didn't get the Nobel Prize, but somebody else did. It's a beautiful instrument, a microwave instrument developed by Professor J.C. Bose in 1894. If you see it, my students, you cannot understand how such beautiful instruments can be made with workers all in India. This is the Royal Institution of London, 1897, is demonstrated his millimeter wave, which went through the wall and did something outside the wall, surprising everybody. One thing which troubles me, at that time, to get so-called accolade from Britain was a very important factor for anybody, which is no longer the same case. This is Charles Darwin. I'm particularly conscious of Mr. Charles Darwin because he went to the same college as I did, Christ College, Cambridge, at the age of 21. He discovered survival for the fittest in terms of species and human species. A brilliant discovery, but he lived for quite a long time and then lost his vision and things like that. Then comes quickly Albert Einstein. First time in human history, he discovered that energy and mass is the same in some sense. Mass can be transferred to energy, and energy can be transferred to mass. C is the velocity of light. this famous equation. Einstein pondered us in his study in Princeton. He toyed with the idea of unifying all forces of nature, but unfortunately he failed. Einstein was a great musician and he played almost so-called concert style violin. He spent quite a bit of time playing the violin. Then comes again back to India. His great last Saha, 1893 to 1956. Against all odds, he discovered the Saha equation of thermal ionization. He measured the temperature and the chemical species that make the stars blinking and twinkling. This is his equation. I don't wish to go into details of that. The Satyendranath Bose, great pioneer of Bose-Einstein statistics, and that is also known even now because the particles obey Bose-Einstein statistics are known as bosons. So all the photon light particles which pervade the entire universe must consist of bosons. This is his equation, and his paper was translated from English to German and published in Zeitschrift Physik in German. This is Bose with Einstein. Einstein used to smoke quite a bit. It's a very interesting picture of smoking a very long pipe. And his argument was, if you have a long pipe, the smoke becomes cooler. Bose was an interesting character. He spoke French fluently and to some extent German and played beautifully his rounds. And with his name Bose, particles which obey his statistics are known all over the world, bosons. So as long as the civilization that we know exists, bosons will be known. Then of course, the Chandrasekhar Raman, who discovered the Raman scattering and got the Nobel Prize first time from India or Eastern Asia. And he was a great man doing this experiment with so little apparatus, but he was brilliant. Then comes Homi Bhabha, nuclear physics, and discovery of Bhabha scattering for the electron-positron collider in 1936. But far more important, he was the visionary behind India's three-stage nuclear power program. These are the five elements of fundamental constituents: Khiti, earth; Tej, fire; Murut, air; bomb, water. Bomb means empty as the sky. So, if you look at the fundamental structure of matter, as the wavelength becomes smaller and smaller, you begin to see wavelength of incident beam of particles. You see more and more accurately what is inside. And then you see, first of all, an atom, the nucleus, neutron, proton, and within the neutron and proton, there are mesons, and within the mesons and neutrons and protons are quarks and gluons. These are various forces of nature that control our entire universe, from gravity, electromagnetism, to radioactivity, and strong interaction among a neutron and proton. So I'll go now, a little bit of experiment now. Technology which you have been looking forward to, I'm sure. Big Bang versus Little Bang. Little Bang with the two nuclei, how they mimic the Big Bang 13.8 billion years ago to create the universe that we know. This is an experiment we did at Calcutta some years ago, 1989. And those little gadgets are 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter plastic scintillator, And diagonally, there is the so-called optical fiber to pick up photon particles. And this picture you see, I like to spend a second or two. Extreme left from my side is Rao, who believes, I will believe, driving a taxi in New York City. Next is Sengupta, who is not a multi-millionaire or a billionaire in California. Then comes Yogi, my dear colleague, was retired to Bihar. Then myself, much younger, and Ghosh is a real American by now, and the rest are my colleagues. It is a huge team all over India that we assembled to create this gigantic detector. It's a marvel in technology. Do you understand, my students? Hello? Have you gone to sleep?
No, sir, we are here.
Yeah. Hello, yes?
Yes, sir, we are here.
Okay. This is the detector we built, WA98 experiment, to be used at CERN in that experiment. 55,000 of those pads, optical fiber inserted, and you cannot afford to have any mistake anywhere, either in electronics or in the mechanical engineering or in the computer control. If you have, nothing would work. And no excuses is accepted there. Either you do it or you get out, which actually had a tremendous effect for our students and youngsters on the discipline. This is a great accelerator built by the Americans in Brookhaven National Laboratory, relativistic heavy ion collider. And this is actually 1 kilometer in radius, as compared to the diameter and the radius, which means circumference would be about 3 kilometers. And we had interest in two detectors which are very complicated, the so-called star detector, and Bombay had an interest in Phoenix. It's a magnificent machine, totally dedicated to nucleus collision. This is the star experiment. You see, so many people work there, for so many countries, so many languages, so many religious diversity, so many kinds of food habits. But because they want to discover something, there is a unity in their extraordinary diversity. You can see from the picture the number of people worked, and from their faces you can see how different they look. It was a remarkable experience of human beings and the social structure. This is something we built at STAR, photon detectors. Then comes the Large Hadron Collider and its experiment. It's 24 kilometers, not three. It's a huge tunnel. This tunnel is a miracle in mechanical engineering. And everything I'll show you now is the most advanced technology the world has ever seen. We work in Alice, in the Quark land, CMS and Atlas discovered the famous Higgs boson, and I'll come to that. This is the muon arm detector. Some of these small gadgets that you see, we built at Saha Institute in collaboration with other universities and other institutions, and it worked beautifully. This is the LHC, Large Hadron Collider, 27 kilometers. You can get an idea about the size of the tunnel. This is all superconducting, all incredibly complicated. The man has conquered that technology. So technology to me means not tinkering around with something innovative in so-called computer, or little bit of this and that, but something totally out of the ordinary in a macroscopic scale to discover something microscopic world like Higgs boson. This is a 27-kilometer long circumference. You have to get a cycle to go around. It's not allowed too often. I've had the pleasure of doing that. And superconductivity is extreme cold, no resistance to electricity to save electricity and electrical power is actually 1.9 degree Kelvin. Minus 273 degree Kelvin is absolute zero, as we know, we should know. So this is a cooling and superfluid temperature, coolest, coldest in the whole universe. By 1 second, mark my word, it goes around this 99.791% of the speed of light. Einstein was so right, you can't cross that limit according to Einstein, and still valid. 27 kilometers, it goes around 11,000 times in 1 second. Now that is the marvel of technology, isn't it? 600 million collisions will take place. There are again, and the amount of helium required to cool the magnets is 700,000 liters of helium, which is a fantastic number. And I would say US is going to stop production of helium for other countries, so we have to be very alert in India. We're trying to. In a very small place, the temperature of this collision of two ions is almost 1/10 of a million times the temperature of the heart of the sun. It's remarkable, absolutely fantastic. The hottest spot in our galaxy. These are the various quarks that I talked about at the beginning. Up charm top, down strange bottom, and then the so-called bosons, Z and gamma, W, and go on, electron, etc. Don't worry about too much. And then, of course, universe consists mostly of dark energy and dark matter. The so-called visible matter is very, very little. So human beings are trying to find out what is dark matter, what is dark energy. We haven't found any proper answer yet. But then you can actually find out if you're interested in these things. This is the discovery of the Higgs boson. Two protons colliding, producing two gammas. That's all. But it's very complicated to have the Higgs boson actually measured. You see, in Atlas, how the result goes with the more finer and finer resolution. You see that as you go along, it becomes narrower and narrower. That means finer and finer resolution. At the moment, the mass stands 125 GeV. But it's very short-lived, it decays. This is our own detector to find out photons, as I mentioned, and electron and muons. And you can see the photon multiplicity detector has been taken down and the muon pairs. VCC, IOP, IIT Bombay, Jammu, Punjab, Rajasthan. INP, Aligarh, muon pairs. This is the belly of the detector that I am with my good friend Hans Gutbrod from Germany. And that's the famous Manos chip, which is a miracle in terms of electronics. So, my friend, electronics doesn't mean just doing internet or doing a job in this wretched thing called internet and for Infosys and all that. That's the real electronics, to devise a chip which was actually accepted by the whole world. But India is not very happy with accepting these things because it bothers the so-called business people. This is in Science Institute going on the quadrants. You can see there in the machine. That's one of them, 1/4 of that. We are sending along to Sun. You all look very happy. Very been successful going by here, actually. delivered. This is what we did with the data from there, and it's a discovery of some importance. I don't want to bore you about that, but it's very interesting that the something called quark-gluon plasma was discovered. And the temperature, as it were, that we found there, it was the highest in the whole cosmos. Well, one might pause. And some of you probably read the book by Lewis Carroll, Alice in the Quarkland. The time has come, the walrus said, to talk of many things, of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings, and why the sea is boiling hot for the pigs' wings. Such fantastic discovery, you feel like going back to Lewis Carroll. Rolf Weir, my friend, former DG, Director General of CERN, in the Atlas experiment. Just get an idea the technological feat. You people talk about technology. Now, that's a huge, just to get the idea, Rolf Weir is a usual tall German, about 5 feet, 11 and a half, 6 feet or something. So you can compare the whole thing to see how incredibly complicated this technology is. Where are we in India? Why don't you wake up, my young students, and do something? What's why? We are now associate members of CERN. We can build detectors ourselves, earn some money for our country and ourselves. But no, there seems to be no effort at all. This is Atlas. So many thousands of people are working, and they are actually trying to find out very, very minute elementary particles. So, I mean, there is all sorts of people working. It's a combination of all kinds of institutions, and it's a really wonderful experience when I was working there. This is the universe, 13.7 billion years ago. And that's the universe after 300,000 years. So what LHC, Large Hadron Collider, is doing, it's atrocious, it's very daring. Going backwards towards Big Bang, microsecond, microsecond, before, just after the Big Bang. It's a daring effort of human beings, a challenge which can be done with the greatest effort in the extreme front of technology and ideas. It's a beautifully humble experience. It is discovered again, so many things are happening. A new era in fundamental science has come now. You can't do fundamental science without the help of great deal of technology. Innovative technology developed, innovative in the sense you don't get usually exact instruments that you want to build your detector, so you have to innovate. This is the historic day, 4th July 2012, and this is CMS, the Atlas. The lady is Atlas person, now DG of CERN, announcing to the world we have discovered Higgs boson. Now I wish something like that happens in India. Somebody gets up and say, I have discovered this. That will be the day for India. This is the Higgs boson. Look at the peak, so little. Same picture I showed before. Now it's been a joke. You see, England is very stingy about money. It's getting even more stingy with the problems of Brexit. So Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister, would not give any money to CERN. The UK Science Minister, William Aldergrave, in 1993, threw a challenge to youngsters. What is the Higgs boson? And why do you want to find it in one side of a sheet of paper? That's a great challenge. I wish you could do that. Imagine a room full of political activists. I don't know about Bombay, but in Kolkata there is no dearth of political activism. Political activism is a part of Kolkata life, as you all know. There is a president walks in, a lot of excitement, and then he gets bombed because everybody wants to talk to him. So in a very simple language, is analogous to generation of the mass because he can't move. Mass has been generated, he can't move very easily. Imagine the same room again. Interesting humor is introduced. Something is happening, somebody is coming, somebody has been murdered, India has lost to Australia, or something like that. So analogous to Higgs, sorry. And they start chatting with each other very, very intense. This is the Higgs field, as it were, very, very loosely speaking. So the mechanism of Higgs mechanism is actually self-interacting with the field, produces the so-called Higgs mass. These are the two great guys, Francois Gerard from Belgium, I think, and our own Peter Higgs. He was at King's College in London where I worked for a while, and now he lives in Edinburgh. He's a very modest man, and he said, "Oh, thank goodness it's all over, I can't bear it anymore." And then this is a cartoon showing that to find Higgs boson is to find a needle equivalent to find a needle in a haystack. I just finished the experiment or two on comparing little bang versus big bang. Big bang for the, for the universe and little bang between the two nuclei. In the big bang, the main thing is the gravity. In little bang, the pull is the back pressure. I'll show you a picture very quickly. I won't talk much. This is the Big Bang, dawn of time and space. 14 billion years ago, and then it expands, the universe expands. Enormous force that started the universe. It's very small, a tiny point even, believe it or not. This is the arrow of time. Gravity separates from four basic forces. At 10 to the minus 44 seconds after Big Bang. Unbelievable. And a temperature was huge. Universe expanded. 10 to the minus 37 seconds. Expanding exponentially. To minus 10 seconds. Electromagnetism separates from radioactivity. To minus 5 seconds. Quark gluon plasma, that's what I work on. I've been working for quite some time. Comes along. And the remnants of the universe are from there. By 13 seconds. For 9 years. All things, nuclear, galaxy, everything starts. Supernova, heavier nuclear, etc. As it stands today. And all the trouble started in the world. Extraordinary story, right? I told you I'll show you this. Actually, the dark energy is huge. See, almost 70% is dark energy, we don't know what it is. And 27% is dark matter, we don't know. All the trouble that we face, wars, castigating, abusing, everything is only 4.8%. And what a halla. What will happen eventually in the universe? Will it go on expanding and become very cold and become a grave? Or will it come back and have another big bang? This is a poem translated from Rabindranath Tagore. Thousands of stars blink away forever. In the bog trap, Nataraj is alone and silent. So that's the moral of the story. The last message, my students, you can't do technology in vacuum. Your life will be very dry and miserable. But if you do technology to discover something, your life will be most exciting. And that's why I wanted to convey to you. Thank you very much indeed. This is the Nataraj. We actually presented to Saha. Thank you very much, my friends. Okay, I'm finished.
Thank you so much, sir, for your exhilarating words. I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of the entire crowd that you've positively revealed groundbreaking thoughts and promising ideas while instilling a new perspective in our lives.
Thank you.
So now we'll move on to the next segment, that is the Q&A session. So we have a few questions put forth by the audience.
Sure.
Sir, the country's biggest and most cost-effective medical cyclotron, that is Cyclone 30, that can produce radioisotopes for the diagnosis and treatment of cancer, set up in BCC, Kolkata, and it was under your initiative. So, sir, can you give us some insight about this work?
Well, I think very much. I mean, we, we did not build this cyclotron because it has to be very reliable. And now it's operating very nicely. And the radioactive isotopes are given in about 10 hospitals in and around Calcutta, but it will go out to other parts of India. And most crucial, the price of these things are one third of the price that you have to pay if you import it from abroad. That's my great pleasure to privilege to mention to you. One third of the price. So it's a beneficial to society. Next question.
Thank you, sir. That was quite interesting. We'll move on to the next question.
Thank you.
Sir, as we know that India spends less than 1% of its GDP on scientific research and technology, whereas other countries like USA, Japan, Germany allots up to 4 to 5%. The figure that a country spends is quite negligible, and it can be one of the reasons why it hinders our progress of missions like Make in India. So, according to you, what are the reasons for this, and what can be the other ways in which a research institutes can gain funds or procure funds for scientific research without completely depending on the government?
Well, there are many, many issues involved here. First of all, the percentage of GNP that is used in science and research and development work is very small, less than 2%. Japan spends 10%, America 12%, We talk about science. I mean, this is nonsense. I am very angry about this thing. Secondly, scientific temper. You tell me, young lady, how many people knows about science in this country? There's still huge amount of superstition. Even people, 90% of Indian friends, of Indian colleagues or Indians, still think there is Rahu Ketu who eat up the sun and the moon to have the grahams, the so-called Chandra Grahan and Surya Grahan. The superstition is still there. So we are trying our best, but not enough, I would say. So people like you, the youngsters who have energy, to spread the idea of scientific rationalism to other people. That's my point. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I really hope that we overcome all obstacles that hinders our path and we head on to our progress.
Once you remember, there was this Ganesh drinking milk business, long time ago. Ganesh Thakur, the temple Ganesh, drinking milk. Absolutely crazy. It's 21st century.
Yes.
You believe it? And I don't think it's a question of poor country. It's just a belief strongly ingrained in us which is very only people who can do it and get it out of the system is scientists. Or even not any scientist, layman who was scientifically inclined. Okay, thank you very much. Enjoy myself and enjoy yourself. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sure. Sir, we have next question here. Most of the best talented Indian minds prefer to settle abroad and are doing extremely well there. How can we encourage them to contribute to our nation and prevent this brain drain?
Good question. Well, point is, I think there are many reasons again, and there is a tendency of very good people to go and live abroad because yes, the facility is better. But more than that, I think they have the opportunity to meet and interact with the right kind of people. In India, my young lady, I tell you something, most people are preoccupied, obsessed with domestic problems. माताजी को क्या हुआ, पिताजी को क्या हुआ, what is happening to my grandchildren, शादी कब होगा, ये हुआ सब. That's not the way to do it. Society should take care of that. So a lot of energy is spent on those things as one matures in life. And the scientific concentration is not there. And of course, facility has to be there very much to build up the confidence. But I don't see any reason why we can't produce enough scientists of world class, which is recognized as Nobel Prize. But you know, I mean, Nobel Prize is the only answer. There are lots of other recognitions and so on. This commitment is not there. I'm telling you, commitment is not there. In nobody media was bad. That's what I see about all these years. I'm very sorry to say. But good luck. I mean, you people can change society, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank
We
you.
should really work for our nation. The young minds should really work for our nation.
Right.
Yes, sir. So the next
Right.
question. So we are familiar with your 3 C's mantra. Could you please elaborate that?
Hmm?
The 3 C's that you propagate.
Sorry?
Sir, your 3 C's mantra, 3 C's. Creativity, curiosity, and continuity.
Yeah, well, that's very important. I don't even believe in creativity. If the angel says something which is very novel and new, people trouble him. They don't want trouble in this world. Steady, hold steady. You know, I mean, if I wear tomorrow, they say, like a red shirt, what are you doing? I mean, there is a tendency to confirm, and science asking is not to confirm. That's the last thing. Good luck. I have to go somewhere else, okay? All the best to you. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a great pleasure having you. We're really honored by your presence. And thank you so much for this impactful and thought provoking session. And we hope you all enjoyed this session.
Thank you.
Until then, this is Bharati Nair signing off. Until next time, this is Technovanza VJTI.